It was both wonderful and very complicated at the same time. I was a little bit of a complicated case. It took us a long time to figure out what was causing the issues, and once we did, it worked right away, but that required us to do about 6 cycles. And so we had to do a lot of coordinating of getting medications and figuring out flights and travel with both of our work schedules.
There by our sides from as soon as we started seeking fertility treatment. They were there and they were responding to our emails. They were taking care of us. They were reassuring us. They were giving us advice and different techniques and different modalities in reproduction. It's given us a completely new perspective on life because now we have a baby boy and our life is forever changed. So Unica is always going to be in our hearts. Wow, that was shocking because we were like, oh my gosh, this is finally happening after all of this time and money and travel and everything. It was the best moment of my life.
He says we felt that way. I, on the other hand, was still not convinced we were having this baby until he was actually here. I was a little bit more skeptical, but excited, and I think a lot of women who have gone through fertility treatment can relate to that as well. It definitely provided a lot of relief because we had not gotten to the point with our other miscarriages where we had been able to hear the heartbeat. So I would say skepticism was probably the emotion that came up for me, as far as like I wanted to be happy and I was happy, but it was also very cautiously optimistic. So the most difficult parts of this journey were just the discouragement that we experienced. Our case was kind of unique. Figuring out those barriers took a while, but ultimately it was important to me along the way to be able to be as relaxed and have as much fun as possible. So our favorite that we've talked about is probably the trip where we got to go to Norway, and this was the trip that the transfer worked. So it was just a really unique experience, and I think just making memories like as a couple. So I am a licensed mental health professional. So I would say that provided a unique perspective for me. I would say anyone going through fertility treatment probably has a lot of doubt and a lot of questions and concerns that come up, and it can be really easy to get in that negative spiral in your mind. And so I tried to use a lot of the techniques that I use with my clients on myself. Didn't always work as well as it does with clients.
For the majority of our journey, we did try a mix of holistic approaches, meditation, and it wasn't until the second to last transfer that worked that the clinic had advised us to look into reproductive immunology. And that seemed to be the missing piece in our journey.
I would say absolutely there were moments I wanted to give up, but my desire for it to work and for us to have a family was stronger than the urge to give up. We just kept pushing through until it worked and we figured out what was wrong.
One thing I wish we had known before starting IVF would definitely be reproductive immunology, just because that was able to take our specifics of our case and Carrie's immune system and learned a lot of different factors about how her body interacts with embryos and having a baby. And the very first cycle that we did, we tried using Carrie's eggs, and with low AMH, they were like, we can do it, we will work with you, and they were always supportive. But ultimately we ended up using donor eggs for our first child, and that was what was successful. But it was the honesty up front. That was the biggest thing that made us feel confident in going forward with this clinic, because they never just lied to us to make a buck. best piece of advice that I would give anyone that was unsure about IVF is to run the numbers globally. Just because you're in the US doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the best care at the best price. When you go international, your prices drop significantly, your medication availability goes up significantly, and it just seems like once you hop the pond and you're in Europe, everything becomes significantly easier. So we got to experience all these amazing experiences in Europe and come home with the best souvenir ever, our son, Finley,
Yeah.
and all for less than it would have cost us here at the clinic in Tennessee. So
I would say, as the free-spirited person in our marriage, I would say just do it. It's worth it. It's a lot to deal with, but ultimately it's very worth it.
And to everyone at Unica, thank you so much for the years that you put into us and helping guide us to starting a family. We really appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. I hope that this video will help guide other people to them as well, because the experience was fantastic. So thank you everyone at Unica from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.